The year is 2026. Emperor Valerius sits on the obsidian throne, ruler of the vast Athenian Empire. His word is law, his armies unstoppable, yet he is a prisoner, not of stone, but of suspicion and fear. Every whisper sounds like a plot. He trusts no one, not his generals, not his advisors, not even his own family. Surrounded by unimaginable wealth, he finds no comfort. The splendor only reminds him of what he stands to lose. Power is a heavy crown, lined with thorns. The empire is vast, but his world has shrunk to the size of his own fear. From his balcony, he sees the capital's lights twinkle like fallen stars. His people see a godlike figure. If only they could see the trembling heart behind the imperial mask. In the end, Valerius is both ruler and captive, trapped by the very power he fought to possess. This is the true price of the throne. The Athenian Empire was born in conflict, not peace. Spanning continents, it was held together by the will and ruthlessness of its emperors. Succession was a bloody affair. Emperors were made by the sword, not by birthright. Trust was a fatal mistake. Valerius rose in this world, seizing the throne in 2005 after a bitter struggle. His father, a weak ruler, was betrayed by those closest to him. Valerius learned early to survive one must be ruthless. As emperor, he centralized power, stripped nobles of authority, and reformed the army to ensure loyalty only to him. His early rule was marked by decisive, often brutal actions that brought stability to a fractured empire. The people hailed him as a savior, seeing only his strength. But the darkness within him grew. The more power he gained, the more he feared losing it. Every powerful person, from governors to his own children, became a potential rival. History was filled with emperors betrayed by their own blood. This was the legacy Valerius inherited: power, peril, and a lesson that trust is weakness. He believed fear would hold the empire together, but fear, once unleashed, is impossible to control. The seeds of his downfall were sown in the very foundation of his rule. How does a ruler become a tyrant in his own home? For Valerius, it was a slow, creeping poison. The weight of the crown brought constant vigilance. Everyone around him might want what he had. He had seen his father's trust betrayed, so he vowed to trust no one. Victory brought him no peace, only amplified his fears. If rivals could betray him, why not his own family? Brothers became potential usurpers, sons impatient successors. Every remark was a veiled threat, every private meeting a conspiracy. He began spying on his own family, searching their quarters, monitoring their conversations. The palace became a prison, its inmates his own flesh and blood. Ironically, his suspicion bred the very resentment he feared. His family whispered in secret, not to plot, but to escape his gaze. Their fear confirmed his suspicions, feeding a vicious cycle. Paranoia became self-fulfilling. The emperor who sought control was losing his grip on reality. The more he tried to secure his throne, the more isolated he became. His mind, once sharp, was now clouded by distrust. The seeds of paranoia had taken root, growing stronger each day. In seeking to protect himself, Valerius destroyed the very bonds that made him human. The emperor's greatest enemy was now himself. The first major crack appeared in 2012. Valerius's brothers, Cassian and Lucian, once his closest allies, became sources of anxiety. Their popularity with soldiers and people was seen as a threat, not an asset. Rumors and half-truths, an informant's report, a spy's overheard complaint, became evidence of conspiracy. Valerius acted on suspicion, not proof. He summoned his brothers under the guise of celebration, but it was a trap. In private, he accused them, presenting his evidence. They denied everything, pleaded loyalty, but Valerius's mind was made up. Execution would make them martyrs. Instead, he stripped their titles and placed them under house arrest in isolation. The message was clear. No one, not even family, was beyond the emperor's reach. The court was gripped by fear. The family was broken. Trust was dead. The emperor's paranoia had claimed its first victims. Cassian and Lucian faded into obscurity, symbols of what happened to those who inspired suspicion. The court learned to speak in whispers, if at all. Fear became the official language of the palace. Valerius's world grew smaller, his rule more absolute and more fragile. The seeds of rebellion were quietly sown in the silence of exile. With his brothers gone, Valerius turned his suspicion to his own children, Marcus, Titus and Livia. His sons, heirs to the empire, became threats in his eyes. He saw ambition in Marcus's charisma, danger in Titus's intellect. In 2018, he manufactured a crisis, letters forged by his secret police, proving their betrayal. He exiled them, Marcus to a desolate island, Titus to a remote fortress. He called it a test of loyalty, but everyone knew it was banishment. The empress wept. The court stood silent. Valerius's embrace was cold, the gesture of an emperor, not a father. He severed the last bonds of trust with his children. He believed he was securing his throne, but he was creating bitter, resentful heirs. The day of their departure marked the end of family in the palace. Livia remained, but her life was a different kind of exile. The emperor's actions guaranteed a future of instability. He had turned his own blood into enemies. The empire's future was now a ticking time bomb. Valerius's fear had destroyed his family. The cost of his security was the loss of everything that mattered. The seeds of civil war were planted with every exile. With family neutralized, Valerius turned his paranoia to the palace itself. The imperial palace became a fortress, elite guards replaced by foreign mercenaries loyal only to gold. New walls, checkpoints, and barred windows transformed the palace into a labyrinth of suspicion. Only a handful of vetted servants were allowed near him. Food was tasted by prisoners before reaching his table. Every visitor was searched, every gift dismantled. The gardens, once peaceful, were patrolled by armed guards. The atmosphere was suffocating, courtly grace replaced by militaristic tension. The emperor became a recluse, conducting business from secure chambers. He trusted technology more than people, hidden cameras and listening devices everywhere. These measures deepened his isolation. He had built a fortress, but locked himself inside. The world's greatest emperor was now its loneliest man. The palace was no longer a home, but a prison for all within. Livia, the emperor's daughter, lived in the palace, a prisoner in all but name. Her every move was watched, her every word reported. She learned to be invisible, hiding her ambition and intelligence. The library became her refuge, books her only escape. Rare moments of tenderness with her father were fleeting. One day, he gave her a carved wooden bird, a rare gift of love, but soon, her room was searched, the bird destroyed by suspicion. Livia became a shadow in her own home, the palace a gilded cage. The consequences of Valerius's paranoia reached far beyond the palace. By exiling his sons, he created a succession crisis, two embittered heirs, destined to clash. The empire's future was now civil war, not stability. Valerius's refusal to trust paralyzed the government. Officials feared initiative lest it be seen as treason. The empire stagnated under the weight of his fear. On a human level, the cost was devastating. Brothers turned against each other, a father against his sons, a daughter forced into silence. The empress retreated into heartbreak. The court became a place of suspicion, not culture. The emperor had tried to eliminate all threats, but became the greatest threat himself. He sat alone on his throne, surrounded by the ghosts of relationships he had sacrificed. His story is a timeless lesson. Absolute power corrodes, and the fortresses we build become our prisons. Fear, left unchecked, consumes all we hold dear. Valerius gained an empire, but lost his humanity. He sat on the highest throne, but was utterly alone. In the end, he was the poorest man of all, a king of everything and a master of nothing. The empire's fate was sealed, not by enemies, but by the emperor's own hand.